just talking about how smart you are. So.
And you all know that was a damn ass lie.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
busy. I'm so sorry. I didn't do my job, and I was supposed to keep you in check by letting you know.
That you're not.
And I was busy.
Yeah.
I clearly.
Every other episode is about me not knowing how to read or do math, so we're not changing our tune. That's my brand.
That's my brand.
It's illiteracy.
My brand is illiteracy and selling it to kids.
The end.
Illiteracy's so hot right now.
Nope.
That's too real, dude, because I saw some studies and I did see that and I was like, oh no.
I'm a teacher. I know. I've seen it.
You're a teacher?
That's
I'm just kidding.
What?
so what?
You a cop?
I don't know. Illiteracy is just I don't know,
that right
just
now.
finding new avenues of communication. It feels like some days.
Antonio, are you gonna make a new language just like Arrival?
No. If that same path requires me saying things like Addie, I'm out.
What? Yeah, I need the Arrival alien language for Addie.
Dude,
I need
Addie's
the
out.
Equivalency.
Addie's out.
Addie, I hate that.
When did Abbott and
hate
Costello say drop the Addie to
Ketzel,
Miss Adams?
stop.
The humans were like, drop the Addie. We want to come to you.
I hate you guys.
I do too.
Yeah, me 3.
I love us.
I'm just here to have a good night.
AJ's like, I'm not saying a
I'm
single
just
thing.
here. I'm just here. We're just gonna leave it at that.
Hey y'all.
5 and 3. Oh, sorry.
You stupid bitch.
Dahlia, just go. Never
Keep it
mind.
going, keep it
Okay.
going, keep it in.
Hey y'all, welcome to Sit Down Loser. We're watching a movie. My name's Dalia.
I'm Sky.
I'm Antonio.
And I'm Ketzel.
And we're just 5 tenants that won't pay their rent who watch movies that everyone else has watched, except one of us is a loser who hasn't. Today we're watching a movie that begs the question, in the most annoying way in my opinion, how do you measure a year? Rent, released in 2005, directed by Chris Columbus. And today's loser is
Dairy Queen.
Dairy Queen.
Dairy Queen. DQ.
It's me
DQ.
and Ketzel. Yay. I want to know how to measure a year.
And we have a special guest.
Oh, hi. I'm AJ.
It's
Welcome,
AJ.
AJ.
Request.
Hi, AJ.
Hello.
And
Oh my
sorry for whatever happens in the future.
We're so
I'm just here
excited.
for the ride. It's fine.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you. Why we picked this number 1 is because of AJ, because I was out with AJ, my cool pal, and we were ootin' a boot talking about musicals, and I'm like, I never seen Rent. And AJ straight up caused a scene. Are you kidding me right now? Held me at gunpoint. We gotta watch Rent right now. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
I asked for her queer card. I'm sorry. I had to.
You know what?
She took it
It's
away.
okay. I've asked for it a couple times.
Yesterday I
was
was
always on
almost
the-
yanked out of my...
On the edge.
You guys almost yanked it out of my hand yesterday, but we won't talk about that. Yes, thank you for joining us, AJ. So excited. Why else did we pick this?
Queer musical. It's like the quintessentially
Yes.
queer musical.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Is it?
There's,
Yeah.
does
It
anyone
very
have
much
even
is.
like, does anything even hold a candle? Does anyone know?
No, I don't think it does.
Have y'all seen
Besides
Hedwig and
Kinky
the
Boots.
Angry Inch?
I
No.
think Kinky Boots would pretty
Yeah,
much
I was gonna
take this one out of the equation,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
this one covers all forms of queerness.
AJ, have you ever seen Hedwig and the Angry Inch?
Yes, I have.
That's queer.
That one is very queer, yes. I would say it's very one part of the equation. Rent kind of encompasses all. But
Yeah,
the
more
most
mainstream
recent,
too.
Yeah. The most recent one I would have to say that kind of outdoes the queerness on this one is definitely Kinky Boots.
Never seen Kinky Boots. Never seen Hedwig. What's wrong
Hedwig's
with
on the
me?
list. Kinky
I
Boots on
didn't
the
see
list.
Hedwig. And then Kinky Boots, I kind of know.
I'll definitely come back for Hedwig because that one's a good
Yes.
one.
It's good. It's on the
It's
list.
so good.
I want to know about her.
She's great. Also Broadway, baby.
Broadway, baby.
If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. In New York.
I once saw a New York Broadway play. It was great. It was Phantom.
Quite
One
jealous.
time a Jellicle cat did beat me up and mug me in Times
They
Square.
should have left you for dead.
Yeah, they should have left you for dead.
Those damn Jellicles.
They roam the streets of New York
Sneaky little bastards.
since the 80s.
Yeah, I mean, that's all the points we have today. Like, I don't know. I guess we just go into what do we know, Ketzel?
I guess I'll say also, as someone whose musicals is one of my two favorite genres, I haven't seen so many of the big ones like Chicago, like Rent, like what's the other one? Cabaret, right? And you know what? I'm so glad I brought this up because speaking of what I know about the movie, I was talking with Sky on Wednesday, and I was like, Rent, is that the one about the prostitutes? She's like, nope, that's Chicago. Or was it Chicago? You know what you just said?
Is that Cabaret?
It was Cabaret. And I'm like,
No,
oh,
you were
is this-
talking
is this
about Chicago, and you were like, "That's one of the prostitutes, right?" And I was like, "No,
No.
it's not."
I'm like, oh, so it's the one about this, and she's like, no. I just couldn't play every single one, so I have no idea what Rent's about.
I don't know if I like
You're
musicals
about
or
to
not.
find out.
I'm
You like
like,
this
honestly,
one?
I'm like, I do like this one. I'm like, but you know, your mom hates musicals. She's like, why the hell?
Our moms.
Huh?
Both of our
Both
moms.
your moms
Both
hate
Ketzel
musicals.
and
Why do they have to
Sky's
sing all
mom.
the time?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, why do they have to sing all the time? You know, on paper, I really do like musicals. Like, I like the songs, blah, 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 blah. But at the same time, when I think about the Cats movie, I'm like, why do they need to be singing all the time?
Because
So-
they're Jellicle cats.
Duh.
And that's part of being a Jellicle cat is to sing and dance all the time. Were you not paying
Have you
attention to
seen
this
Les Mis?
5-hour movie?
No.
Les Mis is legit all singing.
Oh
That is
yeah.
what a
Phantom of the
traditional
Opera's
Oh,
also
but
musical
Les
is,
Mis I
yeah.
like. Okay, maybe it's like a 50-50 shot
Maybe
for
you
me.
just
We
hate
had
cats.
this conversation, Antonio. It's like if you didn't like the material, then the songs is garbage.
Oh yeah, you're right. And how like yeah, because
If
I
it didn't make
legit-
an impact.
You didn't like Phantom. You didn't like Phantom because of that.
yeah, because I can't like aside from just like the opening theme, I can't think of like the actual songs.
And even the
Or,
opening
like,
theme, you're
Cats.
like, it wasn't iconic and
And we were like, "All right, that's reaching,
cool,
but
dude.
okay."
I think it was just one thing that caught you off guard. I think if you have never seen it and then you watch it and then you latch onto one thing and you're like, I very much don't like this thing, then you're like,
Oh yeah, that was right. That was right. I actually that's one of the reasons I didn't like Phantom.
So okay, so you two haven't seen it, obviously. AJ, is this your favorite movie or one of them?
It's not a favorite movie, but it's a favorite musical of mine.
Okay.
So, reason for that is I was heavily sheltered as a child in a Catholic family, and
Same.
I saw Rent at a friend's house for the first time. And so when that happened, a whole new world was open for me because the things that I were questioning finally came to fruition. I'm like, oh, you can do that. So that's why Rent has a special place in my heart.
Aw, I get that.
Oh, that's so sweet.
That's cute. And then Antonio, you
Formative
like
movie.
this movie?
I do. I like it. It's one
What's your
of
favorite
those ones.
character?
Angel. I think everyone likes Angel.
Oh yeah, Angel for sure.
This is why I mix up the
Uh,
movies.
Tried to think.
Yeah, I'm like, this sounds familiar.
I'm thinking Party Monster,
Uh,
Ketzel. You know Party Monster? And there was an angel there.
You know, where am I?
What do you know about the movie, which
Oh
was
my-
nothing?
Nothing, and I'm surprised Chris Columbus did this. He did Harry Potter.
Yeah, when I
sure
was
did.
doing this outline, I was like, "Oh my god, I know that name."
Mr.
Because
Home
of Harry
Alone.
Potter,
Yeah.
the first one.
Mr. Home Alone. Yeah, the
Yeah,
first two.
It
The
went
first two
through a
did
lot
for
of
sure.
directors before it actually got to Mr. Columbus over here. So
Oh, you
when
got
he
some fun
finally,
facts.
I do have some fun facts. Like there were a lot of people that were asked to do the movie rendition, but it just literally sat on a table, and a lot of people were like, "We really need to do this because it's such a big musical." It was like the most repeat sales of Broadway tickets for this specific musical. This is why we have a lottery in the Broadway system now, to where like you can enter into the lottery and you get front row
Yeah.
seat tickets for like bargain price. And this musical was the reason why, because people would spend money to go a numerous amount of times, up to like 15, 20 times. And
Wow, I wish
it's just
Ticketmaster
Wow.
did
it's
that.
amazing.
I don't want to talk about that. We're moving on.
Ticketmaster.
Hey, Dalia, what do you know about this movie?
Oh my god, it's so funny that you mentioned that. Hold on, let me finish chewing.
Let me finish shooting.
I shoved a blueberry in my mouth. I think I know some things about this movie. It's about not paying rent. It's about a cast of queer characters, and they sing, and AIDS, and
Oh, it's an AIDS movie? Dag.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it gets
bro.
real depressing.
Yeah, it's an
Well,
AIDS
I
movie.
get a fucking
I'm
fucking.
and then they made that movie with Mr. Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, the worst Spider-Man.
Tick tick boom. It's
Is
written
that
by the
about
same
Rent?
guy. No,
Oh.
it's actually written by the same guy that wrote Rent, Jonathan Larson. So, Tick Tick Boom was kind of his life story, and it included Rent within this Tick Tick Boom story. Um, Rent was like his third or fourth musical to come out of his like to actually be super successful, right behind, like right in front of Tick Tick Boom. Tick Tick Boom didn't really take off as well because it was such a life story and you had to know a little bit about Jonathan before coming into it. But Rent was very, um, I would say, catered to a generation that really empathized with the characters, and that's why it was so successful.
It is so strange to have someone so knowledgeable on this podcast.
That's why I wanted to bring
This
AJ
is
on.
the only one that I'm knowledgeable about, so this is all you're getting
Dude,
from me.
So
I
so
told
strange.
you, like AJ held me at gunpoint in the middle of an alley downtown Las Vegas, and I was like, okay. No, we were drunk, and I was like, bro, you got to be on my podcast.
And I was drunk enough to be like, yeah, sure, let's do it.
Did you guys, any of you guys see Tick Tick Boom on
No.
Netflix?
Nope.
I wanted
Oh,
to.
yeah.
I didn't want to watch
Yeah.
it because
Oh,
I
yeah.
knew this was on the list.
You could watch it with, it wouldn't have like skewed anything.
It wouldn't have hindered.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for Rent. It was really good. That shit made me cry.
very good.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
Andrew Garfield.
100%.
Andrew Garfield has our hearts.
He sure does.
Great
Oh,
dude.
Arf, arf.
don't arf arf.
Arf.
It's too early.
I italicized arf.
Arf, arf.
Arf.
But that's
Arf.
all that I know, I think.
That's-
I don't think I know anything else. Don't know any of the actors. It's based in New York. In
You
the
do too
80s.
know some of the actors.
I
Yeah.
haven't
Have
read
you
the
watched
actor
Law and
list.
Order?
Hold up,
don't
right.
Okay.
Hold
know.
up right now. You stop talking. Stop talking. Okay. Let's go into the Rotten Tomato scores first. I'm so excited. I'm not looking below this actor's list right now.
You
Okay.
know at least one more thing.
Antonio, shut up. Sky,
I
go.
do know one more thing. You know that
What?
goddamn song?
525,600 minutes. That's it. That's all I know.
Ketzel, do you know
And
that song?
something,
That's the
something.
song I was
There
talking about.
Measure a year.
Yeah. One the moment she said it, I'm like, ah.
Yeah, y'all know that.
Anyway, Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 46, audiences gave it an 83, and Google users gave it a 76.
The critics were like, fuck this
I
shit.
think this just
Miss me with that
goes
gay shit.
on par with musicals going to movies. Broadway musicals turning into movies. Because, I mean, Phantom didn't do that well. This didn't do that well, like, critically. And then we all know Cats.
It did fantastically.
So well.
It did amazing.
They're just not into it, which is fair, I guess.
All right, let's go over the actors list because I might need to run to the bathroom, but I might do that right now anyway.
No, Katsu, you should read the first one.
The wickedly talented Adele Dazeem.
Wait. Hold up. Wait a minute. Is that who I think it is?
Yes.
Adele Dazeem.
Incredible. I didn't know that. I truly am so surprised. I
didn't know that either.
So excited going into this now.
Oh yeah.
Your gay
She's
card
fantastic.
is vibrating.
Oh yeah.
Your pizza's ready.
If it's not Angel, then it'll be Adele Dazeem.
Absolutely. Like, this was her big breakout in Broadway as well, because she was one of the original cast members. So, another fun fact, they hired all of the original cast members from the Broadway show. The only two that they had to switch out were the Tracy Toms replaced one of the girls, and then also Rosario Dawson replaced the girl who originally played Mimi. Reason why is because the girl who played Mimi was pregnant during the shooting of the movie, so she couldn't be in it. So they're just like, she's like, yeah, I can't. I will be very pregnant by the time the shooting is done, and Mimi is not supposed to be pregnant. So it was a good move on Rosario's little resume as well.
Career.
So cute. I also didn't know that Rosario could sing.
Oh, she's amazing.
Who else?
Tay Diggs.
Tay Diggs is in here.
Tay Diggs.
Who was married to Adele, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Was married to Adele Dazeem. Adele Dazeem, everyone.
Mm-hmm. This is
ahead,
how
Sky.
their love
Give me more.
started.
I was like, Antonio, who else is in this
Antonio?
movie?
Yeah.
Wilson Germain Heredia. Not entirely sure who that is.
That's Angel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I only know them by their character names because I have never actually paid attention to the original Broadway show.
Anthony Rapp, who plays Mark, he's really big in the Star Trek franchise as well. And if you've seen Twister, he is Tony.
Anthony Rapp is of what's his name's fame or infamy. Anthony Rapp is the one with the allegations against Kevin.
Kevin
Yeah.
Spacey.
Yeah.
Oh,
Who's from SVU?
Jesse L. Martin, the guy who plays Collins.
Wow.
Also, to be clear, Adele Dazeem is Idina Menzel.
Is Idina Menzel.
Oh, I figured.
If you
Just thought
didn't
I
know
had to
that,
make that
you're
clear.
not on the internet.
No. Perfectly clear.
You
Right,
are
so
living
where
under a
are we?
rock, and you need to be on the internet a little bit more. Touch a keyboard.
fuck a keyboard.
Okay. It was supposed to be like touch grass, but different.
I get it. I get it now.
And I think we just have two more cast members that we didn't go over.
Oh, go ahead.
Adam Pascal and Tracy Toms. I don't think we mentioned them.
No, we did not. Well, we talked about Tracy Toms for a hot second.
Oh, okay.
Tracy Toms was a replacement for the original cast, but
right.
she does a number of beautiful, beautiful things. I think off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure she's the one in Death Proof.
Oh, I've seen her. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's in Death Proof.
Love her.
She's also in The Devil Wears Prada.
Wait, is who?
Oh, she is. She's
She's
best
a
friend. She's actual best friend.
Oh my
yeah,
gosh,
she's
yeah,
the
yeah.
bestie that gets the purse.
The
She's like, oh my
purse.
god.
All right, guys. What are your expectations?
Oh boy, I'm scared because I know I got people on opposite ends of the spectrum here. I'm not. I'm
So you're safe either way. If you don't like it, you'll still have friends. If you love it, then
You're gonna
you'll
lose
definitely
some
have
regardless,
friends.
though. Regardless, they'll
We
be
don't
losing
talk
and
about
winning.
we don't talk about that. We already don't tell her about after yesterday, guys.
When do I get my card back?
After not liking Tangerine, it's tenuous whether we'll even see you again.
You're under probation, bro. You're not even.
All right.
We're taking you to court.
Yeah, that's what we were actually talking
You're gonna
about
come
yesterday.
back. You're gonna come back from France, and we'll all have moved.
Oh no.
I'm sad. Also, this is like next year's first episode. Hi, it's the new year. Before we go into
Oh, is it the first year
Oh, this
episode
is
of the year?
like perfect timing for the movie. This is great.
Yeah.
amazing. I didn't know that.
Y'all ready for another 525,600 minutes of this shit?
No.
How many times are you gonna say that, Antonio? Everybody take a shot every time Antonio says it.
Or
You'll be
sings
dead.
it.
You're gonna end up taking 525,600 shots.
And there's
God.
another one.
When will it end?
Expectations. I'm gonna say I have none. I think I'm gonna like it though. I think I'll like the movie. Whether it's gonna be like, the hypeness of it, I think we'll just have to see. I'm very excited for what the chat brings out because I feel like there's gonna be so much happening today with 5 of us.
It's gonna be great.
Hey, Dalia and Q, would you be so kind as to turn off your sound?
What do you mean?
Just so that way you can't hear? Because I'm gonna ask them a question.
Okay,
Oh,
go
yeah,
like
sure, I'll
this
mute
when
myself.
to unmute then.
Okay, thumbs up. All right. All right. Thank you guys so much. We're good.
I don't like being left out of things.
I don't like the this. I don't like the.
I hate that. It makes me nervous.
We'll chat about it after.
I'd like to go over my expectations now. Yeah. Hi. I know you were about to forget. So, I don't have any. Part of me thinks I'm gonna like it because I always love a musical. The other part of me makes me think it might be once you said AIDS queer movie, I'm like, oh boy, here we go again. So I don't know if I might just have more resistance to that. Because if y'all listen to this podcast, y'all know I'm always critical of that trope. But I'm probably gonna like it. If it's an important queer musical, I'm probably gonna appreciate it for what it is. So I'm excited.
He
I did forget one last thing. Maybe
Go
before
ahead.
you go.
No, go ahead.
It's just that I think I've heard that it's like a pretentious film, but I don't know if I'm just hearing that from people who
I'll
have
be the
opinions.
judge of that.
I'm curious to know, but that's my kind of like lens that I'm wearing in going into it. But that's it. I'm trying to go in there with nothing, but that's something else I kind of heard about it.
About the whole AIDS thing. Jonathan wrote this based on like his friends and his everything going on, right, AJ?
Yeah, his friends' experiences with AIDS is the reason why he was doing a lot of work for this, because it impacted so many people in his life and a lot of his community. He wrote this as kind of like an homage, if you will.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it doesn't have a huge emphasis on it, but you see the progression in some people, and I will warn you, it is heartbreaking.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I fully like the significance of it is not lost upon me. I'm tired of being sad. That's always my thing.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's gonna exhaust me, but I don't know. Probably gonna like it. I'm tired of like seeing the sad, being sad
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
There's one song in there that is really going to heavily focus on it. It's called Will I, and you guys will recognize it because it's kind of a round where everybody sings one part just off of another person. It was based off of something that Jonathan Larson heard during a support group meeting. And so it once you know that piece of information, it kind of hits you a little bit. But yeah, be prepared.
Oh boy, that's what my oh boy was for.
Here
I'm like,
we
oh boy,
go.
here we go.
Here we go.
Because I know I'm gonna be fucking a mess.
You know that like tornado meme where that guy's like, "Here it comes," but like It's all the sad game movies. I'm like,
Yep, that's me.
all right, I don't want to get more sad. So here we are signing off until we come back. Hopefully not totally drained of our entire energies.
So how many minutes are in a year again?
525,600 minutes.
I have returned from watching the movie. I no longer like the song. This song can die.
I like the melody, but the song can die. Yes.
Seasons of
Yeah.
love.
I suddenly have to go.
I still have to shit.
525,600 shits. Not one of them belongs to me.
I hate you today, Antonio.
Just today. Just today.
Just today?
Because she loves you so many other days.
I'm her favorite normally. Today's the day.
Yep.
Yeah, you probably are her
Yeah,
favorite.
she is. It's not probably, he is.
Get no thing twisted.
I said nothing.
Yeah,
But you're
but
not denying.
You're not denying. Usually people be like, I don't have favorites. I love you all in special ways. But every single time you stay
She's like,
silent.
I'm not gonna say nothing.
that
So,
silence
what do we-
speaks volumes. Because an empty
About the
room
movie.
could be so loud.
I feel so attacked right now.
AJ, thank you for
Oh.
for being here.
Hey. Here for y'all, man. This is great.
She's like,
The wind-up camera.
Roll
fucking
film. What are you doing? That's my friend.
Oh Lord. Don't worry about it.
that's literally fucking Mark. Don't worry about it.
So, what are your immediate reactions?
I'm sad.
Whack.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much did you guys cry?
Oh.
I'll tell you when I cried.
Just a scale of 1
But
to
I
10.
cried once.
And how much did you cry in that one cry? Yeah.
How much did I cry? 4.
Damn. Okay.
Dalia,
This has to do with what we made you guys
your level of cry.
cut
1
your
to
audio
10.
out for.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are wondering
Yeah, that's
how
why
much I would
Antonio
cry?
posed the question.
Wait, Dahlia. How much? What was your levels? 10?
I think I cried twice, and I would say the first time I was just like, damn, bruv, and it was probably like at a 7, and then the last one I was just like, that was probably also a 7. So they're both 7 out of
You
10.
guys say.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
I guess
actually,
no
you
need
might
to
wanna-
rehash it 'cause
Yeah,
it'll
you
be
can.
the-
Yeah,
you can
you might wanna
listen to
move
that.
it.
Actually,
We'll
I
find
change
out.
it.
8s and 7.
8 and then 7.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad are they going to cry?
Oh, that's a great question. I think Dahlia is going to be at like a solid 8.
I'm
think
going
it's
to go.
gonna be a
She's going to
solid
break the
8.
scale.
Q, I'm not so sure. I think it could go either way.
Did you have a number, Sky?
I think maybe 10. I'm gonna go with the 10. You said break the scale. AJ said
I kind of
8.
want to say break the scale, but let's keep it on the scale. So 10.
Yeah, I'm
I
gonna
wanna
go with 10.
7. I'm gonna go 7 for Q, 9 for Dahlia. I feel comfortable with those
Those are
numbers.
solid.
You know what? That's
numbers.
actually really I would agree with you there.
I think
Okay.
that's accurate.
I think that's accurate too.
Alright.
So we'll see.
All right.
Love that.
I could see that. I could see that. Maybe I was mostly angry. I cried.
I was just mad. I was only in the anger stage of grief.
the anger, and then there was this one where I was like, "Mm," and then after that I was back being angry. I was like, "Oop, oop, oop, oop."
What'd you guys rate me?
9.
Whatever.
You were at an.
You guys just can't go one episode without motherfucking Harry Potter in this
Ever
house.
since you said it, I've been trying to include it more in my lexicon.
Trevor.
All right, so if y'all haven't seen Rent, it is a musical that is based around Christmas Eve, 1989. The aspiring filmmaker Mark Cohen and his roommate Roger Davis learn that the rent previously waived by their old friend and now landlord Benny is due. So their former roommate Tom Collins shows up. He gets mugged. Mark and Roger meet with Benny, who tells them that he plans to evict the homeless from the nearby lot and build a cyber art studio.
Which I don't know what that means.
Yeah, what
Dude,
the
He
fuck is
explained
that,
it. I
dude?
still don't know what it means.
He's
Just a
like
studio,
you can
honestly.
it's full of creative.
It's all
right?
about
Like,
the graphic design. Graphic design is my passion.
VFX.
He's making an Apple store on that block.
Essentially,
I feel like-
yes.
Mama, Benjamin Benny Coffin's a turd.
The turd.
The
Got him.
turd. The turd.
Turd of his
Really
hidden name.
came all up in this, and this was Tay Diggs,
Yes,
right?
this is Tay Diggs.
Yes.
And I was just like, wow, Tay Diggs, because like I only know Tay Diggs from like Tom Haverford from Parks and Recreation, which is a TV show, because he always talks about Tay Diggs, and I'm just like, wow, Tay Diggs, and then he's like here being a fucking ass, and I'm like,
I don't
I
like
don't think
you.
I like you anymore. I'm like, what's wrong with you on Christmas Eve of all things? And then he's like trying to sell his idea. He's like, oh me, a new money guy, like opening a thing.
Yeah.
You guys will love the thing.
I just go and
But
get
you're
married
evicted.
to the richest daughter in Manhattan, and then her daddy buys 3 buildings and a lot and says, hey, let's build some shit. And then, oh, I'm sorry. Can we curse on this podcast?
Yes.
I forgot
yes, yes. Can we
Yes, of
curse
course.
on
Okay.
this podcast?
My bad.
We got that E for explicit, baby.
Okay, good. Perfect. So, but yeah, now he's just like, hey, Mark, go talk to Maureen and be like, hey, you should probably cancel the protest, and then you guys can get rent free again. Deal? And then they say no. So,
Because they're not snitches.
no, they're not. They're just like, hey, you did have values at one point, and now you suck.
He's
So-
a fucking little bitch. Because if I married the richest woman in Manhattan, I would let y'all live wherever the fuck you want, rent free. Just saying, you guys could live wherever
Bro,
you
he
want.
was poor. He was poor. He been living that life, and he do this. And also, please, you have to talk about your comment about the sunken place.
I said what I said. I
Bet
said
he's
he's
in
in
a
the
sunken place.
He's in the sunken place. He has made a deal with the devil. And he has lost all sense of self and is now a rich capitalist.
Capitalism's a hell of a drug.
Capitalism is a hell of a... That's the real drug. This is not about heroin being the addictive drug. It's about capitalism being the drug.
This is
Can-
about
can I call it
capitalism, babe.
yuppie? You want to take some yuppies?
Take
You
yuppies.
want
Be
some
happy.
uppies or some yuppies?
Some yuppies. That's the
Yup-
capitalist drug.
Yuppies or
That's
some
a street
downers?
name.
Charlie looks like he's dead.
I love it.
Charlie is Angel right now.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Dude, shut the fuck up.
That's
Antonio,
can't
get
just
the
say
fuck
that.
out of here. If you were my favorite, you're not my favorite.
If you were my
Damn.
favorite.
Allegedly.
If you were my alleged favorite. Uh-huh.
Oh my god, that was rough. That is rough. So, anyways,
Spoiler alert.
we go down to the
Spoiler alert
street
for
where
the
we
spoiler.
find Angel and Collins, and they bond since they're both HIV positive. Roger, who is HIV positive and a former drug addict, tries to compose his one last great song where we see flashbacks of him dating a girl named April, and
He was hot.
Hmm?
in this part, they originally had a very triggering scene to where they showed a suicide note because April found out she was HIV positive, so she decided to go that route, and that's how she died. So, trigger warning, by the way, that is the
Whack.
real story behind her. So,
Is that in the
now-
musical?
Yes.
Was that in the movie at all?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's rough.
No, not in the movie. It
I
in the
was like-
It leads to that, but then it leaves her death very unclear in the movie.
Okay.
But in the musical, that's exactly what it does. And it's like, oh, snap, because that was the time. A lot of people were doing that at that time.
Right,
So
because it was like no
it
way
was
out.
it was an end all. There was no way out. Then he is visited by his neighbor, Mimi, the gorgeous Rosario Dawson.
Sorry.
Um and tries to convince him to do a lot of other fun adult
Drugs.
things. Yes, drugs.
And
Sure.
sex.
Drugs.
And
Yes.
rock and roll.
And they have a cute little song, which I find hilarious because there were a lot of burns in there. So it's one of my favorites.
I did like that
So
song.
like, not to backtrack, but Angel and Collins like telling each other, yeah, we're both positive, and they were like, they're just kind of walking hand in hand into the alleyway. I want to say in the sunset, but it was an alleyway. I did not get that Roger was HIV positive. I didn't know that.
Well, when one partner is HIV positive and they both utilize drugs and also have do the adult content, they ultimately will have the epidemic as well, the virus. So, yeah, it was
I thought it
kind
was
of
just April
it
this whole
was
time.
implied that he would have it, and then when
He shows up at the
Mark
meeting.
is when Mark is trying to talk to Roger about going down to see Mimi and be like, hey, you should go talk to her. Is she cute though? And he goes, remember to take your AZT, which is the meds for AIDS.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's how he
Wow, that
discovers
one
Mimi
went-
is also HIV positive because then he
Yes.
says, "Oh, I'm taking my."
That
what
was
is it,
later
AT?
on.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's the part where
AZT
y'all were
ring.
like, "Oh, that's sad."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I saw that. But okay, so tell me about this light my candle moment because like I was like dissect that for me in your own words.
Well, Mimi sees Roger. She says, hey, he cute. I'm gonna go introduce myself. And so she goes up there to introduce, and it's like, hey, let's have a good time. Here's some heroin. Let's do this.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
that's
thought it was sex the whole time.
no,
No,
she
it's
had drugs.
both.
She had
It's
both.
both,
Both.
always both.
She had
So
both of them.
when he's just like, no, I'm not gonna do that. He's been 1 year sober. When you're talking to Collins, he's just like, hey, you look good for somebody who's been off of a year of withdrawal. So that's also a hint that he used to do drugs, but now he doesn't. So
Mhm.
man's just trying to live his life before it ultimately gets taken over by the virus. So um when she goes up there, he's just like, "Oh, I know you, but I don't remember where you're from." It's the whole, "Oh, you might recognize me as the dancer from Cat Scratch Club." He's like, "Oh yeah, I didn't recognize you without the handcuffs." And I'm like, "Oh, nice." Nice.
Me and him were like nice. Rosario Dawson. If I had watched this as a teenager, I would have figured out things a lot sooner. I think, not that I hadn't already figured it out with Satine and Emmy Rossum, but this would have also really taken me further.
This one made it on a fast track for me.
You're
It's like, oh,
This is my
See
lightning
why, 'cause
lane.
I remember
yeah.
they said Cat Scratch Club, and then when it panned out later in the movie to see the outside of the Cat Scratch Club, I was like, oh, and I was like, oh,
Oh.
and there was so much ass. Anyway, not to go forward too much,
So,
but wow,
yeah.
little light my candle.
And then the next day, it is Christmas Day. Mark and Roger are visited by Collins, and then we get to meet Angel in full drag, and she does her fun little gig on all of their furniture, which it's just like, okay, in those heels, you probably would have dented the table a little bit, but that's fine. So
Their
It's okay.
shit was
They,
Oh my
jacked
God,
they're
up
not
they
gonna
were-
buy
anyway.
another. They
yeah.
weren't gonna buy another
it
one.
was fine.
This is Stomp the musical.
God,
This is the Blue Man Group.
So
I'm saying.
and then they get a call from Maureen, who is Mark's ex-girlfriend, that she left him for another lady named Joanne. Um, so she's like, "Hey, can you come fix my sound equipment?" Joanne has no idea what the hell she's doing, please. and then we get to listen to the Tango Maureen.
Ugh,
So
Which was sexy.
super sassy.
It was
Tony,
spicy.
tell me about that.
it was spicy.
Marine can kick rocks. Love Adina though.
Yes,
Yeah.
she was fantastic in this role.
Did you say she can
Very-
But I
kick
was like,
rocks?
Joanne and Mark. They was having a moment there, and I was just like, yes, drag your ex and your girlfriend at the same time, even though like they. What was it yesterday in Tangerine? I'm so sorry to bring up Tangerine,
No, please.
but they were like, we suck the same cock. or
We're
something
buddies
like
now.
that. So
We suck the same
we're-
dick.
We're basically
no.
besties.
We ate the same pussy.
I don't know. If this was even more progressive at the time, they would have just been like a throuple.
Yeah,
I don't
that honestly
think
would've been
Joanne
great.
would have allowed that. She would not have allowed that. And you
She's
know
very
it.
controlling.
Hey.
Yeah, that's true. She would have been jelly.
Yeah, very jelly. So
Little Miss Free Spirit over here. But I like that tango. I love that she was also the only one in the red dress. A very color moment, and I just thought it
cinematic.
was funny that, yeah, like, and oh man, I just like the choreography in that a lot. The scene and the panning and stuff, and it was like kind of chaotic, as we love to dissect some of that, like directing, movements. And then he was like, You ever notice that sometimes she'll just call you Pookie and that's bad? And then she's like, she never calls me Pookie. And then the Pookie came, and then the Pizookie, Poom Kookie, Prostituki. Here we
Maureen?
are. Like, get
I
out of
love
here.
Dr.
Let me
Seuss.
just say this right now. Maureen's name should have been Doreen. It should have started with a D.
Oh boy.
Because Red Flag City.
Yes.
Red Flag City, baby.
6 red
Pookie's
flags.
a terrible pet name,
I
by
agree.
the way. I could not be a worse pet name.
No, thank you.
Do you guys have pet names?
No.
What do your people call you?
I don't have people.
I don't have a person.
AJ.
I don't got people.
Oh, ah!
You're
You're
engaged.
You're
engaged.
engaged.
Damn.
Shut
I
the
was
fuck up.
repeating
You're the
Ketzel,
enemy
you
now.
dumbass. Dumbasses. I was repeating Ketzel. I don't got no people.
So what does he call you?
What does Pookie call you?
We don't have pet names.
Pookie. It should be Pookie.
It's not going to be. So,
Pumpkin.
It's
Guy
dumbass.
Frankel?
huh?
It's dumbass to each
It's
other.
dumbass.
What's up, dumbass?
But anyways, once we get through the Tango Maureen, Mark goes to the life support meeting that Angel and Collins invited him to, and then he films a part of it for a documentary he's making. And this is the song that is inspired by what Jonathan Larson had heard during some of those support meetings, and that's where I start to get a little
Weepy.
like, yes,
Weepy.
it's a little sad. But then
I just want to say real quick. Here's my thing. It was a sad song, but I was also pissed off with Mark because for the same thing that the unhoused woman calls him out on, where it's like,
Yes.
oh, you're just here as a spectator, and sort of using the stories. It's very much like,
hey artist, you got $1?
Exactly.
But can we
bitch.
talk about the wave? I love Angel.
Oh, yeah, that.
I didn't know what
Oh, that
this
was cute. That was real
It was-
cute.
Hi.
Angel
yeah.
is the only reason I'm here right now,
Angel has my
recording this
heart.
post part, and didn't leave.
Truly.
Oh yeah. Angel
I-
has my
I
heart.
also,
She
like-
left with it. She's gone.
Dag. She's
Too gone.
just like Charlie.
I didn't like. I didn't like that Mark was like recording that. He was like just asking these people who are already probably in the worst feelings of their lives. To be
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
Do you mind if I record you? It's like they literally don't care. All they want to do is wake up tomorrow. Like, you dumb bitch. Like,
Yeah.
shut the fuck up. Like,
Also from
It's
someone
so
who's not part of
stupid.
your like community too. It's like, yeah, you have friends in there, but it's, I don't know, it's that outsider thing.
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
was
So,
rough.
and then it takes
And
a hard
see-
left after that, and we go over to where Mimi visits Roger, and the song "Out Tonight" comes out, where we get to meet her at the
After the
Cat Scratch Club. So that was where we found
Horny.
out AJ was not straight at that point. And she
That's when
probably
AJ
never...
found out AJ's not straight.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone found that out, but
So-
AJ
And you-
first.
Yeah.
You would
It's just
say
like, oh,
We
Am
will
I
roll
supposed to be
first.
watching
sexual
this?
awakening?
oh yes.
Because like
That was the awakening.
we've had a couple of discussions about like sexual awakenings on this podcast. The Mummy, for example.
for Sky?
And I think that's it. 'cause
Mystique
the
from
ones-
X-Men for me. Moulin Rouge.
Spy Kids, the parents.
The parents. Oh, that was
Oh,
Scooby Doo, the whole cast of Scooby Doo.
not Scooby, of course.
Yeah.
The
Not
human
Scooby though.
cast.
Not Scooby.
No.
not
No.
Scoobert, get out.
Did you have any other awakenings, AJ, or was just the big...
This was the first one that spiraled me out of control to where I was really questioning my presence in a church community that doesn't like people like me. So it was one of those things because it was a lot of, oh, is this right or is this wrong? And when you've been told that's wrong your whole life, you're like, oh, snap. Well, this is fun. Okay, we're going to suppress this for a while. No, it never got suppressed.
Catholic
did
trauma,
full
rise
force.
up.
Hey,
So
Catholic
therapy's
trauma,
going
let's
great.
go. I
It's
legit
wonderful.
at some point in middle school, I had the same thing where I was like, "Huh, this is interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and pack that away until senior year of high school. I'm gonna pack that away
Yeah.
for 5 years, and we'll deal with that later."
Exactly. Mine dealt with later in college. So it was like, okay, so now that I'm out of my parents' house, I have freedom? What? What is this? And so
Who is
yeah,
she?
this is great. It was a fun time figuring out that okay, I also like women. This is really wonderful. How do I process that? And this was a huge moment for me to actually be able to process it to where it's like you can have those feelings and it's okay.
Mhm.
So that's why this really holds a special place in my heart. So, um, but the one thing that I absolutely loved about this part of the musical is she goes in, essentially breaks into Roger's house, and then he's just like, "What are you doing?" And that's when he goes and does his song called Another Day, and he's just like, "We've already been through this. We're not gonna do it. You can go. Just why are you in my apartment right now? Because this isn't okay."
Yeah, it's
So,
breaking and entering.
Yeah.
It truly was.
A little
She was
B&E.
going, woo, in the streets, and she was just
Ow,
like, "Wah, wah, wah."
tonight.
That's a good ass song. That was a good song.
That's a good song.
That-
There's some good
It's
songs.
my favorite combo.
Her voice is so good. I did not realize how good her voice was. I was like, like she could be a rock and roll singer.
Didn't Eric Andre date her?
What?
I think so.
I don't know about that.
So
She
weird.
dated a senator for a long ass time.
Yeah, I know that too.
And now
very
she's married
interesting dating.
to another person that I can't remember their name. But I think they're a director. If
Eric
I'm not
Andre
mistaken.
gets hella pussy.
He's like Pete
I
Davidson.
know that.
He said, "Let me in," and they let him in.
And they always let him in. So crazy.
It's almost like they're magic words.
He did. He dated Rosario Dawson for like a year.
Oh dang. So, after that song, they pan over to the life support meeting again, and this is obviously another day, and then um everybody joins the life support meeting, and then the song "Will I" plays, and then that is a part where I also get a little bit emotional because these people are like, I have this disease and it doesn't feel like anybody cares. Does anybody care? Will anybody care if I die? Essentially. And they're like, it's my inevitable end. And I was supposed, from what the doctors have said, um, the opening part where the guy in the red shirt with the curly hair,
The pet,
Joe
the
and
pet
Yes.
Ashley. Yeah, there we
yes, to where he's just like, Reason said I should have died 3 years ago, but I'm still here. Why? So that
It's
song
like
also,
survivor's guilt, right?
yeah,
Like to
yeah,
which is upsetting because that is what was the case for some people, right? Like they were also positive, and then they were, outliving their friends, and they're like, okay, like, is it me next? And maybe it wasn't them for a long
right.
time.
Or it's the
And
whole why wasn't I dead before they were, they got it after me kind of thing. So that was also
it's
a huge thing.
upsetting.
But after that
I
meeting,
liked just like a bit about that meeting. Like everybody, some people that were sitting in those meetings were like disappearing as the song was
yeah,
progressing, and so that was
That
really
was
sad.
later, no?
And then we see Angel. His face was a lot more pale, like his eyes were a bit more sunken in, so you could tell, like, the disease was getting to him.
yeah, that's the part that killed me the worst. Um, and then the group goes down to the subway and performs the song that I think really has no place. This is the
Yeah.
one song that I'm not a huge fan of. It's the Santa Fe song. So,
The Human Again of Rent.
yes,
Oh,
yes.
Get
Oh
him,
my
Antonio.
God.
Get him.
It's like
Get her,
it
where's
is
Human
the
Again from?
Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, it's what they added. And
It
it's
was like
not
a
exactly. Oh,
yeah, or Morning Report
not the
from
greatest.
Lion King.
yes, that one too.
It's these songs that just kind of have no need. They could have been left on the cutting room floor.
what was the song you said from Lion King?
The Morning
The
Report.
Morning Report.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I wasn't a huge fan of
it
this
did.
song.
I think it did cue up later, like why.
Yes,
They-
like I
Roger
do
went to
think
Me-
that
Right.
there's
Mexico.
more usage to this song because of the fact that he
He could have just said, "I'm leaving, guys. I'm going as far away as possible," and just with that sentence would have explained why he was in Santa Fe.
yeah.
Right.
But let me
We
tell
didn't
you
need a whole
something,
song.
though. We were talking about dreams. We were talking about like what I see myself doing later. And for someone who's positive at the time, there probably wasn't a thinking about dreams. I thought it was a sweet little like I have a dream, and
I have a dream.
talking about it coming to fruition. Yeah.
How many Disney references can we
was-
put in?
As many as we want to. Disney, don't sue us.
Disney will sue us.
Yeah, they'll send you a cease and desist.
Michael Mouse will come for us.
And fucking knock our knees
Hires
out.
an like a hitman to come after us individually.
It's Goofy.
Officer Gooby here. Oh, that's what got you?
Oh man. So, after that little stint that they pull in the subway, Roger and Mark leave to help Maureen set up for her performance, and that's when we get the Angel and Collins duet, "I'll Cover You," which is one of my favorites.
this was pretty.
It's a
This was a
Anything-
cute song.
Anything Angel
It's-
and Tom Collins did, I'm like, okay, I'm in.
it's
And when they left the
cute.
screen, I was like, okay, I'm out.
It's one of those songs that I want to like, but I can't remember like words or anything like that. Like the beginning part,
Yeah.
sure, but like it's harder to sing in your head. It's like you can just belt out 525,600 minutes.
No, I
Any
can't.
give
Well,
you want to you want to challenge me? I will drop it at every given single conversation. But like,
Don't egg him on, Ketzel.
but
Well, and that's also Jonathan Larson's writing as well, to where he didn't really have a set refrain. His verses were all completely different, and it was kind of a little tactic on his part to where you had to really listen to get the story.
What?
So-
He tricked me into trying having to pay attention.
I was duped.
I mean, you get that in the slam poetry part for sure.
let me-
but
Which
yeah,
I
I
cannot-
got that.
I'm
Wait,
dying.
hold
I'm
on,
dying to
hold
talk
on.
We
about
haven't
that.
gotten there yet.
This is where we get
Katz
to
was
the
like,
slam
loading
that
poetry
clip. though.
here.
Clip-
So
Wait a second. Wait. I want to talk about "I'll Cover You" because like I thought that was also really nice, and no, the part about like you don't have to pay me like to shelter you
Yeah, that's cute.
and pay me in 1,000 kisses. Like it's all about love, and like it was never about the rent. It was about the love.
What about love?
Anyway, you guys can keep.
I'm gonna send you a
there's
cease and
no
desist
rent.
letter.
It's a new lease on love. A new lease.
Shut
You are
up,
my
AJ.
love. It's yes. It's
There
adorable.
she goes.
I-
There she
I'm
go.
gonna be down for the count now. Oh, you guys talk.
There she go.
There she
There
goes.
she goes.
There she
There she
goes
goes
again.
again. There she goes again.
Fuck you guys.
Guys,
Oh,
that's
wait,
so
I don't know why we
beautiful.
why do we do that song? Why don't we just do This is the story of a girl.
This is.
This
Wait.
is a story of a
Sorry.
girl who cried a
Cried a
river.
river
Drown
drowned
the
the
whole
whole
world.
world.
That
Why
was
she looks so sad.
that was like spiral audio.
Yeah.
This
Mom, I don't want
is
to be here
triple
anymore.
layered audio.
Come pick me up.
You know, most people would try to be comforting.
She
All we
looks
did was
so
sing at you
sad
while you
in
cried.
photographs, but I absolutely love her.
Absolutely love her.
And
when
she
she
cries.
Cries.
Jesus fucking Christ! You're making my
This is
dogs
so
fight.
Fucking dumb.
They're like, "Ah!" Oh, can we finally get
So,
to the performance
anyways,
artist?
Then we get to where Marine's performance space, and everybody meets up. So Marine starts her slam poetry session.
Whoa.
Okay.
Maureen first enters in a
First
blazer
enters
on a
a
motorcycle
freaking motorcycle.
and a
I mean,
chemise.
she was hot. There's no denying that.
I was like,
Not the chemise.
chemise. And
The chemise.
the chemise. And arms. Arms. Guns.
Yes,
All right.
Yeah, take us to the
for
gun show.
days.
That was the wackest thing I've ever seen.
You know,
Yeah.
I am so surprised you didn't adore that part.
No, let me tell you why. That was some white performance artist, James Franco ass shit that I ever did see.
Was it
And
like
if-
being tied to the hood of a yellow rental truck, being packed in with fertilizer and fuel oil, pushed over cliff by a
it was-
suicidal Mickey Mouse?
It was the verbal exactitude of that.
It was the verbal garbage of all that.
I couldn't believe you remembered that.
Oh, I've had that memorized for years, dude.
Instead of like in Miss Katy Perry's "Do you ever feel like a plastic bag floating through the wind?" It's that.
I don't have
Absolutely.
and maybe this is me not saying that a particular type of art is invalid, and I would like to say that performance artists, I just can't with them. It's not my thing. I'm just like, all right. You know,
It's understandable.
I'm
But
like,
like
Wait. What were
the-
your? Do you not like slam poetry?
that's not performance art.
Performance
That's slam
artist.
poetry.
Oh.
Slam poetry is performance art is like that. She was doing slam poetry, but it was veered to performance art. Like it was, and I think that's why I didn't like it. If it was just slam poetry, cute, whatever. Have your moment, girl. But it was a little too performance artist for me, and everyone was fucking sliving, and I'm like, the fuck? And that caused a
TV
riot.
screens.
You know what?
Yeah.
Not surprised.
Move for me. Move with
which
me.
it's interesting how it caused a riot in the movie to where it made a nice segue, but there wasn't a riot in the musical. It was a peaceful protest in the musical.
It's also audience participation in the musical, isn't it?
Yes. It is audience participation.
Like
Also-
when they're
Wait a
saying,
minute.
Also-
Yeah.
How do you know that?
I took a quick Google to that, and a couple people were saying it will be interesting to see how it like pans out in the movie, which is why they went with the direction of the riot. But the reality is that like because it's not audience participation in the movie, it goes to the riot. But in like actual like Broadway showings, you as the audience are supposed to move with her.
Yes.
Cute. If I just want to say, if it was just slam poetry, I've been to slam poetry fucking readings. That shit was not cute. But she was cute though.
she was
cute.
Yeah. She was no slam poetress, but
Not like not in the
good.
Purge. Like the woman from the Purge. If she had gone up there, they would have won. This movie would have been a 1 hour movie.
So after that happens, after the riot happens, they all meet at the cafe, which has to be one of my favorite scenes. And honestly,
Settling for this one
It's
as well.
it's
yeah.
y'all you put it in the chat just beautifully. It's how theater kids act out in public.
Yes.
Sky,
Kids
Sky,
at
you had
Denny's.
it. Sky, you couldn't have
I
said it
loved
better.
it.
Yeah.
It honestly is. And I'm just wondering how many times they had to bolt those tables in and tell everybody to not move to do that piece. Because that was
yeah.
a lot of work.
Incredible choreography, so chaotic. Again, here we are with the camera movements around everything. People are shouting things, very like crazy things that were so exciting and excitable. This was my favorite song, I think, and favorite scene because it was just so wild and crazy. And then Mr. Bennifer Jones was hanging out in the corner booth, and then everybody was just like, "Well, looky who it is here," and they went like this, middle finger right to him, and then they're like kissing and shit in front of
All
of
the
his
cis straight
investors.
white old men.
His father-in-law and friends.
I like
Yes.
that part. I like that they're all being like, you know.
That's my sister. We're close.
Yeah, that
And
was
I
funny.
like,
That was funny.
It was funny hearing them
everything
describe
else,
like
though?
what everyone would be doing. Like Mimi will be performing her handcuff dance, clad only
Her
in bubble
lawn chair
wrap.
handcuff dance.
It only in
To
bubble
the
wrap.
sounds of Ice T being served.
Like I was like,
Yes.
yes.
Maureen Johnson, back from her one-night engagement, will perform tribal Native American chants backwards through her vocoder while accompanying herself on the electric cello, which she ain't never studied.
Uh,
So yeah, I absolutely loved that part. It's one of my favorites. It's just
It was just so ridiculous.
chaos in the best way.
Can I just say also that Mr. Mark, the filmmaker friend of this group, looked like Lewis from Meet the Robinsons, and I just could not unsee that for the rest of the movie.
He looked like
Yeah,
Chicken
thanks to
Little.
you, I couldn't see that either.
That's what he looked like.
And Chicken Little?
Yeah.
Do you think that he was?
Oh my God, he does look like
the
Chicken Little.
Inspiration.
He do be looking like Chicken Little.
That's what I think.
uh,
That's the only thing I have to
Oh my
contribute to
God.
this
I love
conversation.
that.
Chicken Little and
I love
Stuart
that.
Little.
Yeah,
Yes.
he do be looking like
Yes.
Stuart Little's human brother.
Yes.
What is that little boy's name?
Oh my gosh.
What was that little boy's name?
From the Little Vampire.
Was that Jonathan Lipnicki?
Oh, yeah, I think so. Damn, dude.
That was Jonathan Lipnicki, Morphers.
Thank you for that wonderful trip down memory lane.
I didn't go down that
Well, that's
lane.
what he looked like. That name for some reason stuck with me. I'm like,
Because it's a
at-
3 first name name.
Me at 8 years old, I was like, no, that's a talent.
That's a name that sticks with
Dakota
you.
Fanning.
Jonathan Lipnicki. Please at us.
Incredible.
Anyway, go ahead, AJ. I'm so sorry.
Alrighty. Cool. So after they have their wonderful La Vie Boheme, Roger's beeper goes off and Mimi goes, "Oh, AZT break." And then they have this moment where he's like, "Oh my God, you?" And she's like, "Me? You?" And he goes, "Oh shit, Mimi. Fuck. We're in the same boat. Oh my God." And so they go outside and have a cute little moment. And then they start a little relationship. And then they go back inside and party hard again. Then after that, it becomes New Year's Day. You'll see a scene to where they're all around town square. And then they go back to their apartment and they find that their front door has been padlocked. And so Angel, being the badass that she is, takes a freaking garbage can, breaks the padlock, and they go inside and all their shit's gone. My first thought is that had to have been expensive on New Year's Eve to get a crew to empty that house full of goodness knows what, at least 2 people's worth of living there. And who knows, Benny was their old roommate, so that could have also had some of his old stuff in it. And
Well, he's got the
I
money.
can't
I
justify.
mean, they were
put it.
poor, so I
Exactly.
feel like it probably wasn't as much stuff to move around.
But where did they put it? Like, all the money that you spent trying to getting all that shit out was probably the same price as
Right.
a fucking year's worth of rent.
Right. And then also you can have a lot of stuff when you don't have to pay rent. If you don't have to pay rent, you can pay for a lot of other stuff. That's why Mimi's apartment looks so nice.
God, if I didn't have to pay rent.
So having adult money
Oh,
is just
the
wild.
consequences.
And so
Spending money is wild.
after they find out what happened, Mark's just like, you know what? Fine, I'll take the job at Buzzline that they've been bugging me for since I submitted the footage of Maureen. Mark has Joanne be his lawyer and goes and talks to Buzzline, and then some issues happen at the office, and then Joanne is just like, "Hey, listen, I'm tired of this. You have to commit." And then Maureen's just like, "You know what? I will. I will." And then an engagement party happens. And this is where
I
my favorite duet for karaoke happens.
I just thought it was very on brand for Maureen to be like, okay, you guys are gonna leave me behind, and then they're like doing their work. You could see her in the back window flirting with the fucking front desk girl, and I'm
secretary,
just
yeah.
like, dude, what the fuck?
That's before
what
the
are you
engagement.
doing?
Yeah. That's
Yes,
before the conversation
and I'm
about
just
commitment.
like, Gail, it's just like, even then she's like, yes, I commit to you, I do. And then they have their little engagement set party thingy, and the parents are so supportive the whole time. That was really fucking
Joanne's
cool.
parents
Like,
are. As far as Maureen's parents, they're just like, okay, this is a little weird, but all right.
They're so normal looking.
yeah,
Yeah. And
I
then
mean, the
uh
duet, like, just saying, I thought that they were like gonna stay together, but then they were like, I'm leaving at the end. Like, it literally was like, take me or leave me. And then they're like, leaving.
Bye.
And I'm like, yo, what the fuck?
it's a fun time when that one was going. Like that was also another part to where I'm just kind of like, okay, pool table achievement unlocked. That was a fun thing to experience. And then uh the whole fighting during it's easier to see during the musical with how Maureen is with other people than in the movie, I feel, to where you can get that like, oh, she is just a huge flirt, and you see that in the musical more than you do in the movie, to where it's kind of a shock-ish if you don't know what you're getting yourself into. Um, so seeing that in the movie brings a little more drama to the forefront.
Oh, for sure. Honestly, the first word that came to mind, I was like, oh, she's a little toxica, huh?
La tóxica.
I'm like,
Just
she's
a little bit.
just a
Just
little
a
bit.
little
But at
bit.
the same time, I think it's like also so wrong and maybe so telling to like, don't be that guy. But I was just like, I see where you're coming from, Maureen, sometimes, and I'm like, am I the hi? It's me. I'm the problem. It's me. And I'm like, this is too much. But then also Joanne, fair points too. It's like, I know who I am. And then Maureen's like, I know who I am. So I think it was fair of them to be like, let's not do this to ourselves and be wise
Right.
people. I think they truly care about each other. It's just like, take me or leave me. And leave it is.
Well,
Now
they're both so stubborn in their own ways that it's just kind of the whole, that was the option. And they both took that because working on stuff is hard. I
I
understand
did
it.
not know Joanne was a lawyer this whole time also. I was like, what? Lawyer?
It was introduced very briefly in the very first scene in the movie with Benny, to where he's just like, oh, she left me for some lawyer. Oh, what's his name? Joanne.
That's when it's like revealed
Yeah.
that, Maureen
Yeah.
went the other way.
She's a powerless now.
Power by.
Does that give a bad name? Does that give a bad name for bias?
Yes,
It always
absolutely.
has.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It's one of those
Always,
things.
that's
Like
always a stereotype.
this is one of those. It's one of those problematic. Like it kind of enforces that whatchamacall, that
By
non-committal
Guys will cheat. Yeah, non-committal.
non-committal bisexuals, and it was probably also
Promiscuous buys.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a big situation with that movie, I feel. If anybody else.
That was that, and then on top of that, also like the one gender non-conforming person of color being the only one to pass away is also not great.
Well, it's kill your gays.
My other thing.
Kill your gays is kill your gays. Kill your gays goes back, to
No,
like
for
the
sure,
dawn of time.
but yeah, still not good. My question, I had to say, Sky, why was this your favorite song? I was surprised.
I like it. And like I told you, are one of the drag queens at the Phoenix.
The drag queen.
Kiska. Yeah, the drag queen would perform this all the time. And I never knew where it was from. And I was like,
But
I
that's
kinda
why.
like this song.
It snuck into you.
Yeah.
And then I had heard this song before I had even seen this movie. So I had always liked this song.
They're like, the goddamn drag queens tricked me.
Yeah, that's it though. That's it.
So after that whole stint is done, they go back to the apartment and all their stuff's back. So Benny decided to bring back their stuff, and it's revealed that Mimi went and talked to him, and in the backstory, Mimi and Benny had a thing a few years prior to Mimi meeting Roger. So
And Benny getting married.
yeah, and Benny getting married. But then throughout the second half of this, um, Mimi and Benny become very close. And as you guys saw in the next scene as well, to where like I the song that happens during the like Without You, that one is it's okay. I'm glad that Rosario Dawson did this instead of Daphne, who was the girl that originally was Mimi. I'm not a huge fan of her voice, but I believe Rosario was a good fit for this one. Um, then Roger decides to bust out and um,
And leave.
kind of yes.
And he goes to
So
Santa Fe,
you see
right?
this whole yes. But before that, you see a whole bunch of like scenes of Mimi going through withdrawals and really battling her addiction, and um, you just you also see Angel severely decline, and that's where
As well as others passing away from the group.
yeah, and as well as others just you see the chairs starting to become empty in the support group, and then the final scene was just Collins holding Angel just crying, and that's where I break. Um, and that's when you get the song at the church, the I'll Cover You, and um, as a reprise, and that's the part where I lose my marbles 100% of the time.
I think I kept crying from watching all of that video go through the what is it, like all the symptoms from taking the heroin and the people leaving, and especially Angel dying, and I was like, what the fuck, this fucking sucks so hard. I didn't stop crying. And then it wasn't until like Tom started singing, I think, that I was like crying again. Like I was finishing up and then it came back out, and it just seems so like painful and sad. And then at one point I was thinking like, man, I hope that I leave such a good mark that people want to talk about me like that, because that's what life's about, and that was the first time that I cried, and I think that's why it was like an 8. It was probably a lot more. I wouldn't be surprised, but
I was
it was
angry.
a lot. I'm like, how could you do this to me? I'm like, how could you do this to us?
I was angry, and I did not cry until Tom sang. And then I gave a little sob, just a little boo-hoo,
Little sniff sniff.
a little sniff sniff, a little boo-hoo, and then my tears got sucked up again because I was angry.
Yeah, when he
But it was
hits
Tom.
the phrase,
Tom singing, I'm like, girl, you better fucking work.
oh yeah, when he hits the phrase when your heart has expired, that's where I lose it 100% of the time. Just like, okay, I'm gonna go cry now. I'll be right back. And then once they lay Angel to rest, um, we get the whole fight between Maureen and Joanne and Roger and Mimi, and everybody's just like, what the hell? And where Tom goes, I can't believe this family must die. And when everybody's like, this is goodbye, and then Roger goes off to Santa Fe. So Mark does his own thing, goes into Buzzline, does his stuff. Mark quits his job. Roger comes back, and then it's Christmas Eve once again
It's
in
such a
1990.
weird montage. I feel like they could have just done like one
Yeah.
more thing in between, like Roger deciding to come back and Mark being like, I hate that I sold out and became, whatchamacall, part of the problem, and like just to
Yeah.
like resolve that. I feel like they could have done one more thing there. Just
No, and this is where I think that it's missing something from the musical, which they did voicemails. Um, so the voicemail that goes in right before this, is Mark's parents calling, like, "Hey, you never call. What's your deal?" To where I love the mom because every time the voicemail comes on, it's, "Mark, are you there? Are you there? Are you calling? It's Mom. Why aren't you calling me back?" And it's just the same thing every voicemail. But this one, it also includes Roger's parents to where they're like, "Hey, we don't understand these postcards. Why are you in Santa Fe? Why are you joining a band? Why are you quitting the band? Why are you coming back to New York? What are you doing?" And then Mimi's mom is also on this one, asking where she is. Why hasn't she picked up her meds? She's worried about her, and it's just this noise created to where you really feel the seriousness of the situation when it gets to this day. So I think it's missing that particular segue that the musical had that the movie does not have.
what an
To
easy
where
like
like
5 minutes to
hard
add.
stop.
What like
Yeah.
it could have been an easy 5 minute, like just like ties together two parts of the movie a lot better. That's missing.
I agree.
Like
Like
it didn't even require acting so much as just like voice actors for
right.
Oh, that's so sad to hear. That like there's like tiny things that could have just like created a slightly better overall product.
Yeah. Like
Antonio,
I
did
definitely
you
think
cry
that
at
would have
all?
been a better thing.
Antonio?
Was that directed towards me? No tears.
You a cop?
No, I am not a cop.
You cop?
Nah, I'm just here for the songs, bruv.
Oh, Mr. Fuck Musicals.
I'm just here for the songs.
I didn't really like this song. I was like, oh, okay, he's back. That's it. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
But yeah. So like what happens with Mimi though? Like is she like so ashamed or like is she
So-
like upsetty spaghetti that she's like, I don't want to be around anybody. I'm just going to be on my own.
Well, with the issue with Roger to where he broke up with her essentially, she went back into her old ways where there was multiple drug usage. Then she goes in with Benny. He tries to get her to go into rehab, and then she checks herself out because you can do that in the state of New York. So they have no
I didn't
idea
know
where
that.
she's at. Yeah, that was a fun thing to learn when I was doing my
That's-
huge research for this. Back when I was little itty bitty AJ, sophomore in high school. I'm just like, can you do that? Can you check yourself out of rehab? And you can if you're over a certain age. If somebody else put you into rehab, you can check yourself out.
What if it's court ordered though?
If it's court ordered, you can't.
Okay. I was like,
Yeah.
I mean, if you go
Yeah.
into rehab willingly, then you should technically be allowed to leave willingly too.
Right. And
I
that's their
support that,
premise.
but if it's like court ordered, like, no, sorry, as a judge, I'm telling you, you have to complete this, then yeah, I'd be like, no, you're not
Right.
allowed to leave. Finish your stint.
Yeah. So once she drops out of rehab, she essentially goes into homelessness. Her apartment gets cleared out, just due to vacancy. So she sold her stuff for drugs, kind of thing. Um, she is found on the street, and that's where Maureen and Joanne find her, and then that's when they bring her to the apartment of Roger and Mark, where we get the final scene. And that is like
I almost quit.
where
I almost quit then
I
and
don't
there.
blame
folks.
you.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm like, not this again. I shan't be
Yeah.
sitting through this again.
Here you come
I would be
again.
fool me
Funny.
once.
Shame on me, right? Or shame on you, then shame on me. But like, it was fucking like reliving this shit over again because it's like it's Christmas Eve the following year. Angel has passed away. Mark and Roger reunite with Collins. Collins is back downstairs. They throw the keys to him, and I'm not gonna lie, I think I could have caught those keys,
I'm
but
pretty
that's
sure you
just
could.
me. And then Collins reveals that he's reprogrammed a nearby ATM to dispense cash
Illegal.
whenever anybody puts the code.
Anarchy!
When anybody puts the code Angel, ANGEL, and I was like, oh!
Yeah.
And I thought that was so sweet. But of course, the little moment is ruined because we hear fucking Delta Zim outside going, like, what, la 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 la, Mimi, la la la, help me, la. And I'm like, okay, all right,
That was erratic.
bring her up. Yeah, that's what it felt like to me. I'm just like,
I'm so
But then,
tired
you
of
know,
you.
She looked really, Mimi
Truly.
looked really sick. Mimi looked like she's gonna die. And they put like, okay, tell me why they decided to put her on a table and not the couch. Like, I would have shoved
when they
everything
when
off
they
that
said
fucking
when
couch,
they
dude.
said we ain't got room on the couch, you better believe my little eyes went over
like,
to
bitch.
scan the back, and I'm like, you motherfuckers, there was absolutely
Shut
room
the
on that
fuck
couch.
up. You're a liar, a deceiver. And so they put her on a table, which feels like a fucking gurney. Like, are you kidding me? And yeah, then Mimi's like all rolled up, wrapped in a little tiny ball, and she looks all even worse and sickly. Fucking
You look
Roger
dusty.
singing to her, saying like, "Shut
It was crusty AF, man. Like, you have PB&J crumbs everywhere on that thing. Like, it was horrible. And so that's when you get the final song that Roger's been working on for an entire year.
Could have
And
been better.
then
Lackluster.
I agree. Yes.
Could have been so
Damn,
much better.
bruv.
That took you a year.
It isn't
Drag
much.
him.
but
I
it
would
took
have.
all
I
year.
would have died if I was fucking me. I would have died and come back and been like, Angel told me to come get your man's and tell him his song's whack as shit.
I can't with you."
But yes, that's
So
essentially
I-
what happens. Mimi
Yeah.
does appear to die.
Yeah. Mimi dies, comes back to life, lets Collins
I
know
was
that
crying.
Mimi looked good.
She looked
I
good.
was crying. Yeah,
I was
what
glad.
the fuck was up with that dude?
No, I love
was
that. That was
fucking,
I
like,
love
crying.
that. I was
That
like,
that's
like-
right. That was
I
right.
was like, you guys.
That
that
was.
was correct. I'm like, that's
Shut
what
the-
Angel would want. Is be like,
Mhm.
I saw Angel.
Oh, yeah.
You look good.
Okay, but like, okay, true. I did want that message, but like, fucking Mimi is like death dying, and then she like suddenly goes limp, and then we're like, I was like, at least, no. I'm like, how could you do this to me again? And then fucking everybody's like crying and sad.
They can't
and then
keep
her
getting
fucking
away with this.
Her little pinky, and I was like, because like. And then she comes back to life magically. And, like, the thing is, Mimi looks suddenly not so sick. And then I think Adele Dazeem Maureen is, like, a doctor or something. She's like, her fever is broken.
She puts her
And
hand
I'm
on
just
top
like,
of her
okay.
hair.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
She slaps her
right,
thigh and
right.
says her
Yeah.
fever's broken.
I feel a twinge in my nose. Her fever's broken.
incredible. I was like, wow.
I'm pretty
your
sure
PhD
that the
is
guy who
showing.
plays Roger was like misting her with a water bottle before that scene happens, just so she looked all misty and dewy for that particular part. Yeah.
Ugh. But
So
we just love that Angel's like, go back, girl. It ain't your time. And I'm just like, why did you do this?
Come get your
to us?"
mans.
Go fix some things.
Go fix it.
he needs a key change somewhere in that song, please. Tell him that.
He needs another bridge. He needs a better bridge.
So after that, they all start having a no day but today form of view on life, which I absolutely appreciate. Um, and then that's when the finale happens. So you get to see a video of everybody and Angel, and that's also where I kind of get a little emotional because it's just like too soon. It's too soon. And that's the end of Rent.
So was it worth a watch, Ketzel?
No.
Well, I'm glad
Damn.
you have, because you're allowed to have your queer card.
I like you very much, AJ. But I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry on this one.
No offense taken.
I think, and this is okay, this is
AJ's
the
built
conclusion
different
I'm
than
from.
us.
Let me. I wrote this down, and I think this is my thing. If I had
Slam
watched
poetry?
The Notebook.
this is my if I had watched this in high school, I think I really would have liked it.
Okay, wait. Before you go on to your next points, I need you to give it to us in slam poetry style.
Whack.
Yes.
Theater kids. Whack. The way they held themselves. Whack. The way they killed off my faves. Whack. Half of the songs. Not whack. Overall. Whack. Thank you. I would have liked it a lot in high school, but I think, I think the moment Sky clocked it, I was like, "That's it." Very theater kids. And
Absolutely.
I think it was I didn't like so many of the characters. I liked Tom and I like Angel, and because of that, that's why I liked a lot of the songs. I didn't like most of the characters, and I think because of that, I was like, "Nah, it's fine." I think we're gonna have differing opinions there, Dalia, but that's my truth, and I'm sticking to it.
I think it was worth the watch. I think it was good to cross off my musical my checklist. So I thought it was fun. There was some whack parts. I will say that, but I liked it overall. I enjoyed the story. I liked the characters for the most part. I like when characters make me dislike them. And Taye Diggs came out the gate and he was like, "You hate me," and I was like, "I sure do. I sure do."
But
you
that's
garbage
You
good,
girl."
though.
self-aware
It's like,
motherfucker.
If they're meant to be disliked and they do a good job at being like
Yes.
that's fine. But if I'm
That was good.
But if
That was
I'm
good.
disliking the main characters, like the protagonist especially, and then I wasn't meant to, that's bad.
I think you're not supposed to enjoy everything about everyone in these
No.
I
movies.
only
I
like
think
two of
you
the
have to.
characters.
Like the main
Like,
characters.
we can hate Roger
Here,
a
oh,
lot,
100%.
and we can also hate Mark a lot of the time too. But I completely understand where you're coming from.
I liked Joanne. Mimi was terrible, but I liked her.
You
Right?
mean
Joanne
Maureen?
singing.
Maureen or Mimi?
Yeah.
Mimi.
No, Mimi. Mimi was terrible. She I don't know. This is just one of those movies
Mimi
where
was
like the
terrible, but I
characters are
liked her.
flawed. The premise of the movie is that people are flawed,
Yeah.
and like
But the reason I didn't like them is because they're flawed. I didn't like because they were annoying.
yeah, because they're flawed. They're only annoying because they're flawed.
That's not why. They were just annoying. Because I like Mimi. Mimi is flawed, and she's complex. And I like that about Mimi. I don't think that, like, Mark is particularly complex.
Oh yeah, Mark is not very multifaceted
No.
like Mimi
Yeah,
was.
like, Mimi's multifaceted.
He was very one-sided.
He's like, I almost feel like Mark is the narrator, not the protagonist.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
I don't
not
like Roger too much either.
okay.
Well, Roger was just a jerk.
Roger was a
Most of
jerk.
the time.
He's a flawed jerk.
All right, so solid cast.
Hot cast, solid cast.
I think we went over that.
Oh, I think they're all amazing
Did we
at
go?
acting.
I don't think we went over that. We went over the
I
characters.
think we were just dissecting
We
characters.
really were just
huh?
tearing them
We're talking
apart.
about why it wasn't worth a watch for me.
And why they thought they were not a solid cast.
No, they're good. The acting
thought
was
it was
good.
a solid
the
cast.
cast was solid. The
You're
Solid
talking about the characters.
It's the characters. My bad. Cast versus characters. But I like the cast.
Solid
Yeah,
cast,
the cast
for
was
sure.
good. The cast was
Hot
good.
cast too.
The
Mhm.
fill-ins, that was, what is her name? Something Toms, right? Tracy Toms.
Oh,
She
she's
was
great.
great.
Her voice
Oh, I
is
love Tracy
absolutely
Thoms.
beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right at the beginning, I was just like, Gail.
She was
I liked it.
hitting
It
those notes.
was great.
She was hitting
And
the quan.
Miss Rosario, I was like, wow. Like, again, she could
Yo.
sing. So I'm like,
Tango Marine. I'll talk about it when we talk about music, the songs. But there's like for some reason, I always get it confused because I think of something very specific when it comes to the soundtrack/score for Anthony Rapp. It's so.
Okay.
But
So let's get into it. It's the next question. Soundtrack score.
Okay, so Tango Marine reminds me of Love Me Dead by Ludo.
I love that song.
I love that song too. And for some
I could
reason, when he sings,
Kind of see that.
because he
I
hits
guess
all
I could
them
see
high
that.
notes, and like it's just like this nerdy white guy is what it sounds like, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
wait, is this guy the guy who's Ludo, or like sings for Ludo? And I'm like, no, that's not right at all, because this is when I was younger and I first watched this movie. I was like, oh, is this guy like an actual like singer? No, he's Anthony Rapp, Broadway actor, star,
Broadway darling.
Broadway darling
Rapp.
Anthony Rapp.
Indie darling and now Broadway darling.
And he was a Broadway powerhouse for a long time after Rent was even off of Broadway as well. So he was really, really big on the Broadway scene.
I mean, I liked the soundtrack score. I liked the soundtrack score.
Favorite songs, guys?
La Vie Boheme. Both parts.
Seasons of Love. I should tell you.
Mine, I think. Y'all hear that?
That's Gilly.
Nar.
Probably.
No, people were screaming outside.
Oh,
I'd be frightened if that was Gilly. My favorite song's probably Out Tonight.
That's a good one. It's a crooner. There's just so many great songs.
Is there?
AJ.
Sky's mad because she wants to be mad.
I like Take Me or Leave Me. That has to be my favorite one, but I also love the reprise of I'll Cover You.
Oh, that was beautiful.
That's my favorite too. Is Take Me or Leave Me. And I'm not being mad just to be mad. I don't like these songs.
She genuinely does
Except
not
for
like
that
this
one.
movie.
Oh.
It's just not for me. But I also agree with Ketzel. I think had I watched this like younger and got into it sooner, maybe. But right now in my adult life, I'm good.
Yeah, and I definitely appreciate it for what, like, watching this as a young queer person, the representation. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
But in my adult life, you know, take it or leave it, baby.
All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Costume design, set design, location. How do we feel?
It felt like
New
a
York is
musical.
It felt like
That too.
New York.
Concrete jungles where trash is all over.
Like they really had
Where
to go
the
into
mice and the roaches
depths.
live.
And I also love how they only flew out one guy in a camera crew to go to Santa Fe for just that one little stint and then come back.
Truly, it was a one day shoot.
It's almost
One
like
of
it
those-
was.
Literally a one-day
Amazing.
shoot in a really bad car. And honestly, how much was that going to cost him in gas? And did he make it back in that car? Because he took a bus on the last
He did
half.
take the bus.
Yeah.
He sold.
He lost all his
He
money.
probably
that's why.
sold his car once he got to Santa Fe.
He sold.
to get the bus ticket.
Yeah, he sold his car. Or he sold his guitar to get the car. Sold a car to get a guitar. Lost all of the rest of his money, and then took a bus back to New York.
Nah, he walked all the way back
That's
to
why
New York.
He power walked.
That's why it took
Chump.
him so
He
long.
power walked.
I do like the scenes where they use actual like New York, I think, like part of the outside of the building where they're about to go into Buzz Line. Love I think they called it the space. It was like in graffiti, and that's where they had the performance from Maureen. Like the way that was decorated, if it was even decorated, just the whole set was like grimy and like so New York and like underground, and like the arts, like, you know, people don't care, they just show up because they're just like, it's about the thing that's happening, not about the place. And I thought that was pretty fucking cool. I liked also the lighting and stuff, you know, they use like candles and stuff. The fucking studios, the apartments, the lofts, whatever you want to call it, like that's a big fucking chunk of place to live for free. That still blows my mind a little bit, but it looked good. It looked cool and very New York.
The windows
especially
bothered me.
what are those? The windows?
Oh yeah.
Is it because they're
How
oddly
dirty
shaped?
they were. How dirty those
Oh,
windows
ugh.
were. No, thank you. Absolutely not.
I think the fire escape also made it very New York. We don't have those here.
I love the costumes because it just brought me back to how we all dressed in the 90s and stuff. And like Angel's outfits were top notch.
Favorite quotes, people?
Did I have one, Antonio?
Me and Sky looked at each other at the engagement party, and Collins goes, "You got engaged."
Oh yeah, it was that. I was like, that's funny.
I was like, "How stupid," but whatever.
Love that. I got two. One of them is I'm a New Yorker, fears my life. Which I have
Yes.
fair amount of friends from New York, and they are all leaving, I'll tell you that. And secondly is there will always be women in rubber flirting with me. Give me a break.
That is also my favorite.
Yeah.
That's a lovely one.
Yes.
That's a
There will
lovely,
always
lovely
be
one.
women in rubber flirting with me.
Cute.
Step back out.
I liked the I just can't help it, and that was at the engagement party too. So I just can't help it.
Another favorite of mine is when she is essentially, in my eyes, complimenting Joanne while she's just like a lovable droll geek. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah,
oh,
I'm like-
that's cute. That's fun. And in over attentive, I'm like, okay, now you took it a little bit too far.
That one seemed lovable. It was a lovable dig.
Exactly. And I think we already covered this, but Dalia, do you think that the movie's worth all the hype?
It received. And do you guys think you missed out having not seen it?
No one know.
Really? Because I literally
about to
heard you
say,
say if you think
I'm
you had
gonna go
heard it when you were
first.
younger.
If you're a teenager listening to this podcast, first of all, go to sleep. Secondly, if you're a teenager listening to this podcast, yeah, go for it. I think it will really connect with you and your rebellious bohem spirit, queer little bohem spirit. Me myself, I'm cool.
Huh.
For all the reasons I have stated already.
Okay.
Dalia.
Do I think it was worth all the hype that it received? I want to say yes. Because I didn't think it was going to be like that. I think it's still a good story and cool. Like, I liked it a lot. I'm glad that I watched it. Do I think that I missed out not having seen it? No. I knew the one song that mattered, and now I hate it. So it can go ahead and die.
Wow.
I just didn't like that it kept getting more sad. So now it's like, huh.
So
that's
this isn't
nice.
a fun
That's
time
11
anymore?
minutes. And then I'm just like, Yeah, and then it was like, oh, something's happening. I mean, like, now it feels like my minutes are being counted, question mark. And then at the end, I was like, I don't like this anymore.
I'm not having
Like,
fun tonight.
that was one whole year. Yes.
But I will say, I think that for the very reason, for any listeners, for the very reason this touched AJ so much as a younger person, if you feel like that would resonate with you, I think that's sweet. And therefore, if that's the case, you should watch it. Because I really like why this resonated with you. I think that's really nice.
Thanks.
I'm so glad you went on this journey with
Yeah.
us. Thank you for joining our madness.
Thanks for having me here. This was fun. I appreciate it.
Thank you for leading us through it. Truly, like you were a powerhouse,
A
trooper. Truly.
Thank you for having me on. I do appreciate it. So, it was a lot of fun. And if you guys want me on for another episode on any musicals, I am down. So down.
Awesome. AJ, again, thank you so much for joining us. I know you didn't really want to plug your socials because you're like, nope. So that's okay.
I don't have socials, so it's fine.
We will have you again as our musical expert, because I am not an expert, so we're so lucky to have you.
And that concludes this episode of Sit Down Loser. We're watching a movie. Emma said you're watching a movie. Catch you guys next time.
Bye,
Bye,
losers.
Bye.
Bah.
Oh, not the bye with the pinky wave. Goodbye.
525,600. Bye.
I have to go. Bye.
Bye.